Shalom, shalom everybody. Welcome to another Pulse of Israel. Israel at War update. Today, I'm actually outside of Kibbutz Be'eri. Those of you who are familiar with Kibbutz Be'eri, one of the kibbutzim right outside of the Gaza border that was hardest hit. Massacred, killed, raped, beheaded, taken captive. This is Kibbutz Be'eri. And today I wanted to show you what is outside Kibbutz Be'eri, not inside. And inside, homes are destroyed, massacres, the fights with Hamas terrorists were taking place, the horrendous scenes that children saw who survived, were able to run out and be saved, of people being massacred and killed right outside their homes. Like, all right, that's inside the kibbutz. This is outside the kibbutz of Be'eri. This is a mass grave, kever achim, brother's grave. So you're asking, what's this mass grave for? It's a mass grave for IDF soldiers who were killed in battle in the 1967 miraculous Six-Day War and the Yom Kippur War. But they were unidentifiable, so they weren't able to be known who they were and where they should be buried around the country. So here, they are all buried together. I'm putting this together because this is the reality, the price we pay as a Jewish people living in our homeland. And again, let's remember the 1967 war. 7 Arab Muslim countries waged war against us. We liberated Judea and Samaria. We liberated the Golan Heights. We liberated Gaza. We liberated the Sinai from Egypt. Yet, the world doesn't want to let the Jews win. The aggressors are allowed to get their land back. America forced Israel to give the Sinai back to Egypt in a peace treaty with Egypt. America today forcing Israel to create a Palestinian state. Even after this tremendous massacre, I can't tell you how disconnected from reality the world powers, the global leaders, Biden, the State Department, Blinken, how disconnected they are from reality. Israeli people will never allow a Palestinian state. Never. There's no such people called Palestinians. They don't deserve a state. No one trusts any Arab Muslim to have power and have a gun around us. No. I don't care what pressure comes from Biden or Blinken. The Israeli people, I don't care what the Israeli government might force upon us because they're pressured from the world. The Israeli people will never allow a state for a fake historic people called Palestinians, who we all know are educated in kindergarten, educate their children to kill us with international funding. No, there will never be a Palestinian state. We live this. And I'm proud to be a Jew living in my ancestral homeland today, where I can stand up and fight for my country despite the evil of world leaders who never let the Jewish people win. Not just the 67 war, right? 1956. Egypt was an aggressor, terrorizing Israel with terror groups from Sinai and the Gaza Strip. 1956. Israel liberated all of Gaza and the Sinai. What happened? America forced us to give it back to Egypt in 1956. We are seeing history being repeated. Today, the evil Arab Muslim Nazis in Gaza did the horrific massacre of our people. Any war, you wage a war, you lose that war, you lose land. Even the more so for the Arab Muslims, that they don't care about their lives, because again, they teach their children to be martyrs in kindergarten. They don't care about dying. The only way to make sure they know they lost is by taking the land away from them. You lose your land. And Israel should be taking over the Gaza Strip. So even if it doesn't happen today, it's going to happen. The Arabs are going to leave because they don't have places to go back to. And let them have better lives elsewhere. It's going to happen. When? How? Despite the world pressure? I don't know how it's going to happen, but it's going to happen. And we're going to stay in the Gaza Strip. Well, there was just a bomb in the air. Now, I want everyone to understand what's going on today. Israel is at war down south. We're still at war down south. And Blinken and Biden are treating it as if we have to be pressured. Right? Biden yesterday, he was being heckled. Ceasefire, ceasefire, ceasefire. He didn't say, oh, well, this will be over, but Hamas has to surrender and Hamas has to release all of the innocent Israeli civilians. He didn't do that. He didn't say, we're using world pressure to pressure Hamas. No. We're pressuring Israel to end the war, to get out of Gaza and stop the fighting. Right? Biden is making it look as if we're the aggressor. It's insane. It's evil. It's evil. This is just yesterday. Blinken is here. Blinken is saying, oh, we have to take care of the Palestinians in Gaza, and they have to go back to their homes, and the UN has to be involved to come in and figure out when they can rebuild their homes. We have over 100 Israeli captives in Gaza. And that's what he's talking about? He's talking as if this is over already? As if we should care about them? Because every civilian in Gaza is no innocent civilian. Civilians took place in the massacre of Jews in Kibbutz Be'eri and Kfar Aza and Nachal Oz. And they kidnapped some of those Israeli civilians and held them in their homes and handed them over to Hamas and celebrated when Hamas paraded them through the streets and hit them. So long as we have our innocent Israeli Jews, and some foreigners might still be there, I don't know exactly, maybe not, held captive in Gaza, there are no innocent civilians in Gaza. They're Nazis. They are Nazis. And the world is ignoring that all they have to do is pick up the phone to Qatar, or Qatar as you say in America, and say, Qatar, you let go of those captives, because Qatar is behind Hamas. So Qatar and Hamas are like this. Qatar and Hamas are like this. Say, Qatar, you don't release all of the Israeli hostages in Gaza. We pull out our strategic relationship with Qatar. We pull out our military base of Qatar. That's all the United States has to do. Pressure Qatar. Don't pressure Israel. But they're not pressuring Israel. We have our captives still in Gaza. And they're pressuring us? They're pressuring Israel as if Israel's the aggressor? Israelis' blood is boiling that every day Israel, because of world pressure from Biden and Blinken, we have to give humanitarian aid to Gaza. Our captives are in there. They have over 100 innocent grandmothers, 19-year-olds, children, a baby, a 1-year-old baby. Whether he just was one or he's turning one, they're holding a 1-year-old baby captive. We don't know if he's alive or dead. And we have to give humanitarian aid when everyone knows that Hamas takes the aid? They take all the gas, they take all the food. It's supposed to be given for free to the Gazans, but Hamas takes it for themselves, for their terrorists, and then sells it at high prices to the non-combatants. And the world is pressuring Israel to do this? It's insane. No, humanitarian aid should be given to Gaza until our captives are released. None. Where's the world pressure against that? Every day, headlines should be pressuring Qatar to release the hostages, pressuring Egypt to open the border with Rafah, with Gaza, so that anyone who's in Gaza, who doesn't have a home, can leave and go somewhere else. That's where the world should be pressuring. Qatar to release the hostages, and Egypt to allow Gazans to leave and have a better life elsewhere, because they're not going to have homes for years, even if they're rebuilt. But no, Biden and Blinken are pressuring Israel, making it look to the world as if Israel's the aggressor. See the evil reality we're dealing with? And it's history repeating itself. Like I said earlier, 1967 war, we were attacked by 7 Arab countries, and then we were forced to return the land we liberated. Still today, being forced to return, not return, to give away, because it's our land. It's our land. Judea and Samaria is our land. Anyone who says give back the West Bank or give back Judea and Samaria, no, it's ours. It's nothing to return. They stole it from us. It's our land. And still today, they want us to give away our land to our enemies who murder us and kill us. This is the reality. Now, it's sad and it's infuriating, but I want you to understand, we are so blessed to be in our generation where we do have our modern state of Israel, and we do have our own army to defend ourselves. Because for 2,000 years, this double standard also existed, and horrible things happened to the Jews, and we were never able to defend ourselves. Pogroms, expulsions, persecution, every country we lived in, right? And even countries that took us in, that wanted us in, right? There was a time where Britain wanted us in the Middle Ages. Britain wanted us because we can help their economy, and then they expelled us. Poland wanted us, and then they expelled us, right? Their countries, those are two countries that during the Middle Ages actually invited Jews to come in order to help them with their countries, and then they didn't like us anymore because we became so successful that they expelled us from their countries and persecuted us, right? And we were never able to defend ourselves. And that's not even referring to the Nazis, and not referring to the Inquisition in Spain and Portugal and South America, because the Inquisition went there to follow the Jews who escaped. We were always running, always persecuted. And even when we succeeded, then we were persecuted, and then we were expelled. So thank God we have the Jewish state of Israel, and we have an army to protect ourselves, even though the world still has a double standard against us and never allows us to win and properly stand up for ourselves against our evil enemies. Even though in any other country, they'd be any other country, if October 7th would have happened to them, Gaza would have been carpet bombed on October 8th. Any other country. America? I'm telling you, let's say New Jersey was an enemy country and New Jersey bombed New York, right, on October 7th. October 8th, America would have carpet bombed New Jersey, right? Or if it was Russia, right? Or Britain, like any other country, it would have been carpet bombed the next day. But for us, not only do we not carpet bomb, we're risking our own soldiers' lives because of the world's false morality, which is really immoral, because they care more about Nazi Muslims in Gaza, where every school is used for terror. Every UNRWA teacher teaches children to kill Jews and to destroy the Jewish state of Israel. That's the reality of Gaza. So all of Gaza are Nazi Muslims. And here's the thing, right? Because we are still trying our best not to kill civilians. But when the army says leave an area because we want to go after the terrorists, and some people leave, but if some people don't leave and they stay there, in a sense, to help protect the terrorists, they're no longer innocent civilians. They're now a problem with the terrorists. And if they get killed, that's their fault. And anyone who gets killed in Gaza is Hamas's fault. But again, we're going to win, everybody. We're going to win. Just like we have this memorial here for all of the Israeli soldiers who are buried here, from being killed in the 67 Six-Day War and the Yom Kippur War in 1973. And here, the state of Israel, since then, is grown and developed and become a powerhouse of the world. We're going to grow from this tragedy as well, despite the world pressure against us, despite the world pressure from our own allies, from our strongest ally, the United States of America under Biden and Blinken. And here I want to give this message across to everyone. Americans support Israel. The American people supports Israel. The American people are an ally to the Jewish people. The American foreign policy establishment within the White House today, and the State Department, and the CIA, they are anti-Israel, always trying to weaken Israel. Always, 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 year after year, administration after administration. The only administration that truly understood a strong Israel as in the foreign policy interest of a strong America was President Trump. He was the only one. Every other administration, and even the next best one was probably Ronald Reagan, but even Ronald Reagan was stuck with an anti-Israel foreign policy establishment that did not allow him to truly help Israel to really help America. Because America's foreign policy, State Department, CIA, everything, they are more Arabists. Forget about the fact that the CIA, back after World War II, was not infiltrated. America brought in Nazis, literal Nazis, to work in the CIA after World War II. I think it's called Operation Mockingbird, right? Look up Operation Mockingbird. That was the secret smuggling of key senior Nazi officials from Nazi Germany into America to work, and the CIA and NASA and other government institutions. So yes, after World War II, literal Nazis were involved in American policy and American foreign policy. Literal Nazis, all right? And again, I think it's called Operation Mockingbird. Just look it up and read up on it on your own. But the American people, who are strongly connected to the Judeo values that Christianity has taken on based on the Bible and Scripture, they are allies of the Jewish people, understanding our freedom comes from God above, from Scripture, from the Torah. Our morality, our values are bound together because they come from the Torah, from Scripture. So the American people who understand freedom comes from God, and the founding fathers of America knew that as well, not from man or man-made laws. Our freedom comes from God. Anyone who supports governments who take away people's freedoms are anti-God. Those governments are anti-God. Those Americans who support those policies are anti-God. And obviously anti the Bible, anti the Torah. But the founding fathers of America understood our inalienable rights come from God above, not because of man-made laws. And that's the connection between the Jewish people and the American people, the freedom-loving American people, not the socialist Marxist Americans of today who are trying little by little to take over America and take away American freedoms and destroy America from within the culture battle. Media, movies, television, schools. No, they're not the freedom-loving American people, and unfortunately, many of those are in the government. Again, CIA, White House, etc., etc., etc. But the American people, we are your allies. We are your allies, the American freedom-loving people, and we all have to call out the anti-American values, anti-Torah, Bible, Scripture values of the ones in the White House and the ones who run the foreign policy of America, who in essence are standing up for evil. The fact that Blinken can say Gazans must remain in Gaza, at the same time he says we must support a two-state solution, which means expelling Jews from our ancestral home in Judea and Samaria. Think of that. The Biden-Blinken administration support Jews being expelled from their homes, from their ancestral homes in Judea and Samaria, but it's forbidden to even entertain for Gazans to willingly leave Gaza. No, that can't happen. That can't happen. They must remain in Gaza. You see the evil? It's not just a double standard. It's a clear evil. So again, signing off from Kibbutz Be'eri, one of the epicenters of the horrendous tragedy and massacre on our holiday Simchat Torah on October 7th, where so many people were murdered, beheaded, burned, raped, taken captive. But standing outside of it, remembering the price we pay and will continue to pay for being blessed to have our own sovereignty in our ancestral homeland once again. Like I like to say every Holocaust Memorial Day or Israel Memorial Day, the Holocaust is the price we pay as the Jewish people if we do not have our own state. Israel Memorial Day, remembering those we lose fighting or being killed in terror attacks, is the price we pay for having our own state. I go with Israel Memorial Day. I want to pay that price of having our own country. And believe it or not, it's here where we're feeling the spiritual revival of the Jewish people. It's here where we feel this Jewish spirit. It's here where we feel the Jewish culture. It's here where we are truly maximizing our lives as Jews. And that's why I want every Jew to live here. Not because it's safer. It will be safer here than anywhere else for a Jew. But the ultimate reason to move to Israel is not for the education, not because of the economy, not because of safety. No, the reason to live in Israel is because the Jewish state of Israel is our ancestral homeland where Jews are supposed to live. That's the reason everyone should want to live in Israel. And yes, Safety is going to come. But the true safety is the safety of our souls. And our souls are so much safer here in our natural habitat. For our children growing up as proud Jews, not having any embarrassment of their Jewish identity. No, not at all. If there are, we do have some of those here, but they're a tiny minority, and it's because those are the socialist, Marxist Jews who live in Israel here, who also a minority, who run the media and run the universities and run the justice system. Oh, ready for this? We're in the middle of a war, and our Attorney General makes the bombastic public statement that no one should make any comments about the Gazan civilians having to be leaving Gaza, right? We're in the middle of a war. They're our enemy. They massacred us. And our Attorney General, she's not out prosecuting the university professors, the doctors, the teachers, the Chavrei Knesset, the parliamentarians who are pro-Hamas. No. She is more worried about any Jew in Israel who says that Gazans should leave Gaza. That's our Attorney General. You see that the evil socialist Marxism that even exists within our own system. This is our internal battle, our own justice system, what we have to put up with, what our government has to put up with, what the prime minister has to put up with. But we're going to overcome it all because the Jewish people are strong. We are one. The majority of us are united on 90% of everything, and we're strong in our Jewish identity. And that's why we're going to win. Understanding we're connected to God above, and He has our back. It's only a matter of time we're going to take care of our issues, external and internal. But folks, I'm Yisrael Chai, and don't forget God above. He's got our backs. Signing off for another episode of the Pulse of Israel here in our eternal and ancestral homeland, here outside Kibbutz Be'eri, which will go down in history as one of the most horrendous tragedies of the modern state of Israel. But we're going to come out of this stronger than ever before as a Jewish people and a Jewish state of Israel, even though things look crazy. All right, if you are not yet a subscriber to my Pulse of Israel videos or podcasts, go to pulseofisrael.com and click to subscribe. And if you want to help us get these videos and podcasts seen and heard by more people, please just go to pulseofisrael.com and click on the donate button so we can have the funding to have our messages seen by many more people. Shalom, everyone, and thanks for watching. I'm Yisrael Chai.
Pulse of Israel, frontline videos from the Holy Land. Support our work by donating today.